Wendel, one of Europe's leading listed investment firms, has just held its annual Investor Day. Frédéric Lemoine, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You are the chairman of the executive board of Wendel. We'll come back to the Investor Day in just a moment, but there's been some news flow at Wendel recently. Can you bring us up to date?
Well, the year so far has been a good year for our companies. We developed them, we were quite focused on developing them. Like Stahl, who has enjoyed a very high organic growth this year in the domain of chemical for leather products. We also carried out the merger between Allied Barton and Universal in the United States in the field of security services. We now have the leader of the sector in the US, quite a great achievement. And more recently, we signed an acquisition in Africa, in South Africa, with Tsebo, which is the leader in the continent for facility management, catering, cleaning services.
Coming back to the Investor Day, it's perhaps worth reminding that you reached your 2013-2017 objectives ahead of schedule. So now you're also presenting the objectives for 2017 to 2020. What are these objectives precisely?
We've worked on these objectives very carefully because we have a good track record as far as objectives are concerned. We achieved the objectives for 2009, 2013, then as you said, the 2013-2017. So we want to achieve for the third time our objective in line with what we said. So what kind of amount of investment could we announce? And we think it's very possible, given the momentum around Wendel and our network in the world, to invest 3 to 4 billion euros of equity. And we will do that on our own equity, of course, but also with the help of like-minded investors that could invest 500 million to 1 billion euro alongside us. We have experienced that in the past quite successfully in IHS, in Constantia, in Tsebo, and I think more and more investors want to invest alongside us. We'll do that probably in new non-listed companies. We think that our assets will be probably balanced between unlisted and listed companies, 50% each. So it's a growing trend of our non-listed companies. And we imagine about 10 large companies of the size of what we call the Wendel companies, and surrounded by more companies grouped in Orange Nassau Development, the structure we have for fast-growing but smaller investments.
Could you tell us more about the investment strategy, the types of companies you'll be looking for, in what geographies?
Well, look, we're long-term investors, so we are not going to change the strategy that has been successful in the past. We are focused on Europe, Africa and North America. This is already a vast territory, so we'll remain focused on these three continents, with mainly investments where we want to invest 200 million to 500 million euro each in non-listed assets only. This is something that we could complement for the first time by some investments in Southeast Asia. We believe that Indonesia, Malaysia and Vietnam notably provide a lot of opportunities for our team, who has been there for some years already, helping our portfolio companies to develop in the region. But it will be mostly an effort in the continuity of the foundation that we set in the last 4 years.
What are some of the financial objectives that you're setting for the group on this Investor Day?
So we will remain very rigorous in terms of financial objectives. We've become investment grade again in 2014. This is obviously a status that we want to stick to, and we have set a new objective in terms of debt, an objective in absolute terms. We want our net debt to remain below 3 billion euros. This threshold, we're far from this threshold today. Our net debt was 2.1 billion euros. So we don't see any reason to grow our net debt significantly. We want to keep it under control and to have the stability and solidity that fits to a long-term investor. By the way, our cash flow in the future will be positive in average. This is something new for the next 4 years compared to the long-term history of Wendel. And for our shareholders, for the first time, we are setting an objective of return. The total return for shareholders should be a double-digit return. We achieved that in the past. If you compute it over the last 5 years or last 10 years or last 25 years, we did it. We don't see any reason why we couldn't do that in the future by increasing our value, our share price, but also by returning to the shareholders some dividends growing year after year in line with this TSR objective, and with some share buybacks, regular and opportunistic, notably when the discount is higher than 20%.
And finally, since we're talking about the shareholders, is there a message that you would like to address to them?
Sure. That's the third mandate that we'll have, Bernard Gauthier and myself, together, but around us there is a very diverse and united team. It's really one team across the world that is working for our shareholders, for our controlling shareholders, Wendel Participation, but also for the many individual or institutional investors that trust us, and they can be sure that we are fully committed to deliver the value, this objective that we see, and the hidden value that we see also in the current assets of our group. So I don't believe there have been ever more reasons to buy Wendel or to keep Wendel than today.
Frédéric Lemoine, Chairman of the Executive Board of Wendel, thank you very much.
Thanks to you.